to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
You were, like, up to high school. How were you with school?
In what way?
Going up, like, did you lose the fucks that you had before you got to high school?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah. Kind of like in junior high, really.
So that's 6, 7, 8 grade?
For me, it was 7th and 8th.
7th and 8th is junior. Middle school is, I think, when you... Okay.
Yeah.
Was it because you just didn't find academia interesting, or the way that it was being taught you couldn't get it, and so that frustrated you to the point to where you just lost the fucks?
No, I consider myself a smart guy.
Yeah.
I didn't have really too many problems with like learning stuff, but I think part of it was presentation. Part of it was the minutia, that word.
Right. It's French or something.
Of like learning these things that like I'll never fucking give any shits about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Biology class. Like I don't do anything with biology.
Right.
Some of it's good to know, yes.
Right.
And some of it's interesting, but also the teacher in that class was a douche nozzle.
Yeah.
So I didn't care about that.
Right.
In the classes where I had teachers that seemed like they gave a shit, those were the classes that I paid attention. And in classes that I wouldn't normally give any rips about, like math classes.
Right.
I had a teacher that he really knew his stuff.
Right.
And he even had, I would say he was quirky as far as like his teaching style.
Uh-huh.
But he was somebody that made me challenge myself so that he knew I was working.
Okay.
But there were other classes like biology that I didn't give any shit about. You know?
Yeah.
Because the teacher was a douche nozzle or whatever it was.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean...
So part of it, would you say that early on, you almost had like a self-awareness about, where I want to go, this isn't relative, and you were already like doing the steps that I don't need, this is not interesting me because I'm not going or interested in this at all as a career, so I have nothing, I don't care.
For me, it was like, I don't see how any of this is relevant for what I want to do with myself in the future.
Okay.
So like, why am I dealing with this
Right.
shit? This is just a thing that I have to go through.
Right. And then you had some where perhaps it would have been interesting, but you had a douche of a teacher.
Yeah.
And so that would turn you off because why?
Yeah. Yeah.
But there were topics, but there were classes or curriculum that you didn't necessarily find interest in, but you had a teacher that presented it in a way that made you have fucks, even though not relative.
Yeah.
Safe to say?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would say that.
Okay. Yeah. My dad stopped by.
And, well, transversely, real quick, before you head into that, I learned real quick when I got to college that, you can take classes that are interesting.
Right.
And that are relevant to things that you might be interested in.
You can steer your subjects relatively pointedly to what you want.
Exactly.
So my dad had, That's twice.
Bagging it
Sad
up.
Dads Club podcast episode. Oh fuck, I don't know.
Is it-
Episode 240.
I think it's 244.
240. I think it was last week. 245.
245.
246. That's not a mosquito, is it? Fuck you. No, I'm the Lord.
245.
He's Jim.
I'm Jim.
Okay, my dad stopped by early.
Yeah.
We were talking. The Brett's girls, were doing really good, and then apparently the last half of the year, it appears they may have reached like one of those like self-awareness things,
Mm-hmm.
and struggling in school. And I'm like, oh well, fuck. And that's my brother's story to tell. But what he touched on was that my sister, who was, I think, 2 years behind me,
Uh-huh.
ran into the same problems her senior year
Uh-huh.
at Bear River, which I didn't know.
Oh.
He was like, she was doing A's, B's, C's,
And then just fell.
going into Christmas, and then something happened at Christmas and senior year, it did nosedived, and it was like, you may not you need to get on the stick. You may not graduate.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And he was like, and she just couldn't. I'm like, I didn't know. And for me, that was right in, let's see, so that would have put me at 20-ish, 20 plus. So I was in Chico at the time, and like full-time commuting back and forth between Chico and Auburn. So I was oblivious.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Yeah.
Didn't know. And he's like, yeah, it was
touch and go.
And I went, really? He's like, yeah, she barely pulled out. She was bombing biology of all things, and which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to the life sciences stuff, like, you could blindfold me and put me in an isolation chamber and put a fucking biology test in front of me, and I would ace the Scantron. Like,
Right.
it was, I was gifted in life sciences. So to hear, it's still moving. Whew. To hear that she was actually struggling in that, and no one like, hey, come help your sister out. Like,
Yeah.
it was weird, but it's also very my dad to like,
Just not mention it.
yeah, not mention it, like isolate it, like, well, you're worrying,
You
trying
got your own worries.
trying to take care of you and your
Yeah.
commuting, and I think a lot of that had to do with him understanding, because he was still working at the time, and so he was commuting from Grass Valley to Vacaville,
Yeah.
4 days a week.
That's
So
tough.
I think he was like, he knew like the
So he was doing 410s?
yeah.
Yeah. That's,
Yeah,
that's-
it was a rough one. So I think he just tried to just not involve me for the
Yeah.
purpose of not involving me. But she ended up passing, of course, because I never heard about it. But it was, and so basically we had an extended conversation about like how to, because we've talked at length here in multiple episodes past about, Piper, I help with physics, calculus, or pre-calculus. She corrected me just the other day. I didn't take pre-calculus or calculus. You didn't help me with that. You helped me with okay, shit. Fuck. Wow. Jesus. Okay.
Calm down, Dad.
Yeah. I tell you, there are some carryovers, but yep, you got it. I didn't help you. Exactly. I didn't necessarily have your shoes experience.
Yeah.
Like, there were certainly some things that I struggled with, but for whatever reason, it was just like, well, I wanted to do science stuff, so there's no way out of this. Like, the amount of stuff I'm going to have to take when I get to the next step, I have to have these things. So I have to figure out a way to make A and B do the business.
Like, I didn't know, like, what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know? All I knew is that I didn't want to be doing that shit for the most part.
Yeah.
I think for me, probably some undiagnosed ADHD of some kind.
Yeah.
Where focus was a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I don't really know that I ever learned how to properly study to make it easier on myself.
Yeah.
Like, I watch my daughter who's in grad school right now, and the focus of what she is doing is studying. And she has these incredible study habits, note-taking abilities, which I would take notes, probably just take all the irrelevant shit that wasn't important. I don't even know.
Right.
But she has these incredible habits. I'm like, man, she did not pick that up from me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I would just be like, maybe, is it lazy? Is it like just zero fucks? Like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
That was a big part of it too.
Oh, my dad was saying that Brett had tried like carrot rewards, like, you know, get here, then do this thing, and whatever the rewards were or are for the girls, it's not something apparently that they have enough passion or care to lose. That it's not a reward structure for them. So he's like, he went into a stage where, like, you know, you need to get these things done, or I have to start taking things.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, so whatever, you've taken the thing, like, take toys, take computer time.
I had my car taken away quite a bit.
Did you?
Yeah. I was able to drive it to school and drive it home. Which saved my mom having to take me to school.
Right.
But I had to come home right after school, and then I wasn't able to peace out with my own car.
Yeah.
It was sort of like, especially like in the senior year, like you saw the end coming. I did enough to get through and graduate without, like, you're not going to graduate. You know, I didn't have any of those conversations, but I didn't do any extra. I didn't care.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It was just like a thing I had to get through.
Yeah. And, well, you know, and we, you know, to continue the conversation with Dad, I'm like, you know, Piper and even Piper and Xander are, you know, study and learning capacity different.
Yeah. Oh, Chandler and Melanie are night and day too.
Yeah. And I said, and even Piper, who I've worked a lot with through high school in, like, helping bridge the gap and tutoring stuff, I said, she doesn't absorb like I do. And so that has taught me, like, some of the things that we touched on just, you know, minutes ago. Like, there are some things it's a delivery, and some things it may be something that you actually find interesting, but the tools that you have in order to retain it or attach, like, interest,
are subpar.
Are subpar.
Yeah.
And you know, I had to explain that at length to Piper. I'm like, this works for me. This is how I do it. All I can suggest is perhaps you try it, and if it doesn't help something stick, we move to the next suggestion on, you know, perhaps it's more visual aids, or perhaps it's transcribing, or perhaps it's like audio, you know, intake.
Visual for me was the big one.
Really?
Yeah, if it was in some sort of visual presentation, like, I would pick it up really easy. But if I had to, like, shuffle through a book or my own notes from class, forget it.
Did the car independence and getting that back get you motivated in something to help?
Oh yeah, I mean,
speed that up.
Yeah, I would.
So they had found a reward that you had fucks enough to give that you're like, okay, I have to knuckle down. I can't stand this, but I want that.
Yeah, there were times where that happened, but
and that was what telling me.
But only by necessity.
Right. but if they'd have tossed in like a bicycle, you'd have been like, I'm fine
cool, man.
with car going to and from school then, because the hardship's now yours.
I had a skateboard.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my.
I'm like, it sounds like Brett hasn't found the
motivator.
Yeah, and there may not be. They may have to find the solution in the delivery method. I said, but in having just been in various spots with at least with Piper, I'm like, there may not be one. It may have to pick and choose. I said, the girls adore Xander. Maybe there's not necessarily you dangle Xander in front of the girls, but perhaps I can have Xander talk to the girls about the importance.
Just brush elbows and rub it off on them.
Hey, we can go do some stuff, but I heard you were struggling. Can I help you with some stuff, or maybe we can talk about what's giving you struggles, and maybe they get there with. You find a way to eke out like what's the pain point, and maybe we can work around that. God, man, it just breaks my heart because they're certainly a little too young to be doing like the self-actualization thing. So it's not necessarily that they're like, I'm not going there yet. I mean, they're 10 and 11, so it's like they're not 7th, 8th grade.
Right.
They're not like, I want to be a professional skateboarder, and and she wants to sing,
Yeah.
and I don't need math. They're not even close to that yet. I mean, well, that's not entirely possible. It's plausible, I guess, but it would be odd at such a young age. They're already that perceptive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yeah. As soon as I get back, whatever you guys need, let's. But I haven't. I mean, that was like an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. I'm like, fuck, I haven't even had a chance to like talk to my brother about it.
I don't think that I can understate the impact of a single teacher a single bad teacher can have on a kid. A single teacher that can say the wrong thing to a kid and make them
Nosedive.
Yeah.
Yeah, Piper
because I personally had that same thing happen.
Piper had that one. Her physics. Oh, shit.
And
I'm pretty sure it was physics.
Yeah, for me, it started in junior high with one teacher. That teacher was the beginning, sort of my like, I don't need this shit.
Yeah.
Which
is upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
My dad, he had his own story. He was like, his reward was he was same way 7th and 8th grade. I think he said he was like math. Nope.
Yeah.
He's like didn't care.
Yeah.
Didn't want any part of it. Wanted nothing about it. And then he said the high school athletics director came to the junior high and said, You're a big guy. You want to play football? And my dad was like, yes. And he said, your grades ain't going to cut it. You have to be at this GPA to play football on my team. And my dad went, oh. And he's like, hate math.
But he turned that around.
But passed math.
For football.
So he could play football. He had found his like, I will grin and bear every hateful moment of a quadratic formula because I want to play football.
Yeah.
And that was his. He's like, never cared for it. Still can't. Hate it.
Yeah.
But
and it's not even a thing that he's using. I mean, nowadays you just whip out your phone. Half of that most of it you can just do on your phone.
And he did.
You didn't know that then, but
by the time he was doing stuff for the state, it was metal fabrication work, which is still like blue collar. There's obviously measurements, and he could read a tape measure
Yeah.
But the stuff at when he was youth and slide rules and now all of that stuff by the time he got into the actual workforce, CAD, it's being ripped up on a machine, and all you've got to do is teach guys how to weld, and
even more so nowadays, most of that math stuff's still out the window. You can buy machines that you can cut your own shit and fabricate your own crap with no math whatsoever.
Yeah.
Did you watch on Vice Grip Garage? He has a system that has the little pointer, and he had made a shape he was designing a tailpipe outlet, side pipe. And so he had made out of cardboard his template, and then he put it on the table, and the table has like a little clear through with a crosshair on it.
Mm-hmm.
Then he would be like, I need to draw lines, and you just tap on that. And then he drew lines around the template, and that feeds it right into the fucking CAD machine, which then goes to his plasma cutter that he just puts a sheet of shit in there. He doesn't have to measure.
Was it the Darryl Waltrip thing?
Yeah,
I haven't watched that
the
one.
Mountain Dew. Yeah, the Mountain Dew. Oh, my God.
Tribute car,
Yes.
street legal, whatever. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, so he's the computer's doing all the work. All he's doing is
tracing a shape and the
yeah. So I mean, even nowadays, a lot of those computational things, if you're a fabricator, you probably don't even need.
Yeah.
If you can make your own template and out of cardboard and you're good to go.
Work an angle grinder, you're
or use
fine.
use a handbrake to bend the shit.
Mm-hmm.
A bender. Yeah, I mean, some of it I get it, but I mean, math wasn't my thing, but I was too proud in that class for some reason. I had the same math teacher for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I was too proud to let that guy beat me.
Oh, so
it was one of those.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a challenge. It became a challenge. I'm not good at this shit, or whatever it is. I don't care about it, or I probably won't. Didn't retain any of it. But damn
I'm not a notch in your bedpost.
Yeah, I am gonna make sure that you understand that I know how to do this stuff when that test comes or whatever. And I didn't do terrible in his classes at all.
Yeah.
But it was the other classes I didn't. Just like French class. I took 3 years of French in high school. Went to France right after graduation, couldn't say shit in French.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, literally 2 weeks after graduation, got on a plane and went to Europe.
Yeah.
And then we got lost in Paris somewhere, and I couldn't say shit. I couldn't remember any of it.
You're conjugate the...
Well, you know how, I'm very forgetful about stuff. That was not that much different in high school. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, it's different for different kids or whatever their whatever Brett's kids are going through. They're definitely going through something, or one of them or both or whatever it is.
Yeah. They're
going through something that's kind of soured them. And it could just be a semester teacher, or, it could be one teacher out of the group that has soured them, or sometimes even it's that transition from grade school into junior high where suddenly you go from a single class that teaches everything, and now you've got a bunch of different teachers teaching you different stuff, and they all have their own styles, they all have their own things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you suddenly have to interact with different people, and sometimes they can be abrasive because they're dealing with junior high kids all day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it could just be something simple like that. I mean, that's kind of what I dealt with. When I said I had one teacher in junior high, that was sort of my, that was sort of my, fuck it.
Right.
Time. That was where that kind of started.
Yeah. And it was funny because then, let's see. So today's Wednesday. I think, God, it might have been Saturday or Sunday. My sister reached out to me. She was writing because she's taking bachelor courses with Arizona State to finally get her degree. And she's in doing some English paper for an English class. She's like, I need a picture of Dad doing umpiring. And At the time, I was out on a
It
walk.
could have been a picture of anybody.
Right. Right. We're getting there.
Oh, God.
At-
Sorry.
at
I
the-
feel like I do that all the
No,
time.
that's good. Oh, we'll get there. At the time, I was on a walk with Jax,
Yeah.
and it came. I didn't have my phone. It came across on my watch, and I see the thing, and I'm like, as I'm replying, I tilt the watch up. Don't do it, lady. Tilt the watch up to be like, yeah, I have a couple really great pictures from 2007 when he did Little League semifinal World Series up in Seattle. I have some really nice photos of him behind the plate. Anyway, I'm getting ready to raise my arm to like, yes, as soon as I get home. As I get my like wrist up to my mouth hole, Jax runs off into the lawn and he starts making a hot coil. I'm like, oh fuck.
Did you just call it a hot coil?
Yeah. And I'm like, fuck, okay, hold on.
I'm just laughing because that reminds me of the shit that Max took on Tuesday.
Yeah.
That was essentially
Was it an Eibach?
ornaments in a bush
Oh.
because he got up on top of a bush and shit in it. And it was like dangling ornaments all over it. You know what I mean? So I'm picking up shit out of a bush.
He's a Festivus tree maker.
Fucking weirdo.
So
Sorry.
I go from like prepping to make this reply to fuck,
Cleaning up shit.
I'm cleaning up shit. So I'm scooping up. It's in my bag, and I get all the way back home, and whatever that is going through his GI tract at the time, it's one. It's a
A
gagger.
shop towel.
Yeah, it's a fucking shop towel. It's a gagger, and so I get to the trash, the trash can, and lift up the lid and chuck it in there, but I get like one last ugh.
Oh, God.
And so I get into the house, I get his harness off, and Venus is like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm still like, and so I forget to send the reply to my sister. Go to bed. Alarm goes off in the morning, and I go to like don't do it. I go to hit my snooze on the watch, and the text from my sister is like staged right there. And I went,
shit.
Fuck. Because she had said also in the message, it was like, I need it by 11. And I'm like, oh, yeah, well, you got tons of time. So I get to the office, I log into work, I'm doing my work thing. I send her something about 8, and I'm like, hey, I totally spaced. Like, yes, I have a picture. I'm sorry I missed your thing. Jax was taking a shit right when I was trying to tell you.
Made me forget.
And then I got back to the house, and I totally forgot. She's like, oh, no worries. It was just a rough draft. If you still have the picture, you could send it to me because, the final is due like in the next day or so. And I went, oh, fine, I'll send it. And she was like, yeah, I thought about just putting a random umpire picture because, doesn't, who's really?
Yeah, you would never know.
And I said, man, it's funny, 'cause like in the classes that Piper's been taking here at Sierra.
Some MLB game.
Yeah. So, it's like, your dad's worked an MLB game? Like,
with the Astros, sure.
I'm like, the stuff that you kind of realize now as an adult, like, listen, I'm an adult. The teacher here is an adult. This is their job. I know when I am done doing my job, the last thing I want to do is be putting more time into my job. Like, how many people are in my class? 30 plus. Is this motherfucker really going to be fact checking every single paper, like to tooth and nails, and be like, oh, I'm going to take this picture out of here and then I'm going to run it through Google image search to see where it came from?
Right.
Probably not.
Doubt it.
Listen, teachers are underpaid.
But also,
and they shouldn't be.
I'm surprised that from what I've heard, especially even at the college level, how often they pick up on stuff.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think they have teachers have services now they can run stuff through.
I think they have tools.
Yeah.
But I'm like, and they, don't think you can get away on the fly with the Chat GPT stuff anymore. But there are tools against that too. But I'm like, outside of probably now running it through an AI detector.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
So there's a thing, you can take the text out of a thing and put it in your paper. Like if you had an AI write you a paper.
Yes.
And if you put that in your paper, they have a way to analyze it for...
Yes, in short, they have a Chat GPT like AI detector. Yeah, if you were only doing a paragraph at a whack, it's probably not gonna. In fact, that's what they suggest. Like the way around the thing is if you have a page, 3 pages of shit from Chat GPT, you then go over it and just
it's like
alter paragraphs 1 and 3 to a point, like you put your own perspective or twist on it, and you remove enough AI that it becomes...
It's like TurboTax when they tell you what your audit risk is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It has a thing where it goes through and checks all of your shit, and then at the end it says, here's your audit risk, and mine's always down in the low category because I don't do anything wrong in my taxes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I assume something similar to
like
that.
If you can get your right, and then you have you can use the same tools that your administrators are using. So you could
scan your own shit.
You could scan your own shit
and if it gets flagged, I need to edit this.
85% AI. Okay, I'm gonna fucking make this more plebeian, and then this one run it back through 67%. Fuck, that's fine.
This is how come I wasn't going to school in today's day?
Oh yeah. See, now I can't unsee it. Anyway, so I'm having this conversation with my sister, and I'm just like, it's hard to unsee the rules and understanding of being an adult and knowing that there's another adult who would rather be doing something else, and you're like, I know exactly how this works.
Yeah.
Like I know that. So there are corners to cut to like limit whether or not you're like raising awareness on. You can't copy and paste this from another thing.
Right.
Like they're going to read it, but you could probably have some assistance.
Sure.
Because fucking at that level, how much she's like, yeah, so I kind of a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, that's the awesomeness of being an adult and like seeing on the other side of the glass kind of thing. You're like, all right. And I'm like, yeah, now I'm, the amount of time I've looked at Chat GPT stuff, I'm like, it would be really hard for me not to be like, even if I have to come back through this and spend 2 hours on rewriting some stuff.
Well, it gives you like an idea of where to head, too.
Right.
That's
I'd be
thing.
like, write me an outline.
Yeah.
With, here are my ideas. Write me an outline. And then I would just lay,
I mean, I know
I'm going to correct and update this.
I know that stuff's super capable, and it's talked about all the time now.
Yeah.
Right? I haven't used it, though. I haven't even gone to the website to look at what the options are.
Yeah.
So I don't really know, like, what kind of stuff it will spew back at you,
It's cool.
I understand that, but I just haven't played with it. I just haven't had the wherewithal to go play with it to see what it will do. I don't know.
I mean, you almost...
If I have a need...
you kind of have to have, like, a use case.
Yeah.
Like, outside, like, the...
just fucking with it.
Tell me a story about a fucking thing. And like, having an anecdote to like talk about around a campfire. If you don't have a purpose, then it's kind of like, well, I got nothing.
Yeah.
Like last week or something, my dad sends me an article because like every time he comes out here, I'm like, Dad, I'm looking for the quickest way to retire. And he's like, it's awesome. I'm like, fuck. I'm sure it is, Dad.
Well, it's like my wife's dad, my father-in-law. That guy has been retired. I'm not
too long
since like the mid-90s.
Yeah.
That's how long that guy's been retired.
Yeah.
And they had a little business where they were like, they would manage candy and machines and stuff. They would like buy a machine and like put it into like a bank break room and then fill it and then maintain it. And they did that kind of stuff. They had their own company that did that. But they did that on the side while they were retired. It was just something to do.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think they really needed the money. Probably just needed the tax breaks or something.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that dude's been retired since the 90s.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And he's been around long. He used to work in insurance, but where I'm always like, so what did you guys do when you didn't have computers?
Yeah.
You just sit at your desk and wait for the phone? I don't know. What did you do?
Yeah.
You know, just like give them a hard time. Of course, they had paperwork they were shuffling around and folders and whatever the fuck. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
So he forwarded me an article that was like 7 ways to use AI to generate
really?
passive income.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I went, well, thanks, Dad.
People are using AI to make money now?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like,
what?
Like, it's real popular on Etsy to like, people selling like, stickers. Like, you type in your like custom made stickers based off AI, and like you send the storefront like your funny little things.
Yeah.
And the
AI
like the person who's ever running the Etsy account essentially takes your wish list of terms, punches it into fucking Chat GPT. Or an image generator, it generates a bunch of images, and that person then prints it in PNGs on a fucking Cricut, and makes a bunch of stickers and mails you stickers, kind of thing. Like,
what the hell?
Oh yeah, passive. You know,
what if they're all garbage?
People are paying for it. I don't know what to. I don't know what to tell you.
Is there an AI that will like repair your car?
Yeah, right. Shit, like
if it breaks down.
Like that. God damn it! I don't have the time, but I mean, it's there. It's totally
weird.
There. There are people that are like review shops that hire my bot that will go to your Amazon store and review your products based off of the descriptions into a readable and semi-human format, and it will think like YouTube or Twitch view botting. These are AI-based bots that will
write
reviews and like give stars, and all of a sudden your product is bloated.
So they're paying for this service to have an account that they will AI generate reviews and post it.
Yes.
With 5-star rating.
Yes. So you can't even trust the reviews anymore. Like you can't trust oh man, yeah, I subscribe to this YouTube channel because they've got 1.2 million views. Well, how many of the views are human? To get bloated.
There's no way to know.
Yeah, there's no way to, and that would happen on it's a common thing on Twitch. Like in order to get some of the higher tiered affiliate partner status, you need to have like a certain amount of views and concurrent views and concurrent viewers.
Yeah.
And active participation in like chat streams.
There's AIs that just do chat shit.
There are services that'll do that. They'll throw a bunch of fucking bots at your stream and then randomly generate a whole. At the time, I don't think Twitch had like conversational stuff, but now it's 100% a thing. You could have multiple bots leveraging Chat GPT AI to have a full-blown fucking conversation, it probably would be borderline uncanny valley.
Oh, yeah.
But the bot registering traffic on Twitch is not going to know. There
Nothing
aren't
is real.
Yeah, no, they're not.
Nothing's real.
All they're seeing is timestamps and bytes. Yes, they exist here. This person has peak traffic, and this, and this is this. Maybe at some point you get a human to like do an audit to make sure, like, oh, they're submitting their application. Okay, we're gonna look at your metrics, and yeah. But there isn't some dude that's gonna scroll through 30 days worth of conversations in your Twitch chat to be like, no one talks like that. That's old English. Why is my wife sending me stuff?
It's all ye old.
Yeah.
Hear ye.
That's like Shakespearean.
Nothing's real anymore. We've come too far.
Yeah.
We've like kind of crested and starting down the backside, it feels like.
Once you see,
we've come a long way from welcome, you've got mail.
Right. It's
a long way.
It is a long way. And like when you do that, if you get, if you fuck with it, if you tinker with it, like it is not hard to see how it. Oh, yeah. She just now decided she wanted to have fuckery with my workout reply. Good job, wife. It is not hard to see how advanced this is and how. I mean, if you can fathom the lack of tech understanding of the just American populace and the struggles we have with spam mail and idiots clicking through a thing and downloading a compromised Trojan to their or clicking a James Bond girl's ad.
Or the Netflix text message that your account's been locked.
Yeah, or going to a poker site, or downloading some fucking Bitcoin miner app. Like the amount of the lack of knowledge and tech savviness of the huge portion of the population would be incapable of knowing the difference between where we are at with AI replies and responses and just stupid humans who can't formulate English. And you're like, well, this is so bad. No one would write this. Yeah, that's some dude from the South. I hate to tell you. But this sounds coherent. And it actually talks about like the size and like what it would feel like. That's real. No.
Wow.
It's like a rabbit hole thing that gets almost scary real fast. And I was here, I can't remember if I've talked about this on the show or with you. My brother-in-law, Keith, when he was down here giving us the sacks, love sacks.
The business?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like, here, now that you've got this new couch, grab your ankles. I'm like, what?
Here's some business.
I got some business. We were talking about like a YouTube thing that I had just seen about how they were this one like day trader that I follow for options trading. She used Chat GPT to write her code, JavaScript code that you can use in TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim platform, that you can use this script to generate getting in and out of buying and selling options at a speed that you can't do as like a human trader. You just automate a script and you say,
oh, wait, Chat GPT is writing JavaScript code too?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, it'll write all kinds of code. And then you can ask it to...
Where have I been?
To describe... Yes. And then you can ask it to describe to you in simple human to understand terms how it's writing the code.
Oh,
like
wow.
it
Have you done that?
No, because I don't want to fucking be writing code. And if I know how to write code, then it's all over, and then I'm in trouble.
Because then you're gonna be writing.
Then I'll be writing all kinds of shit. So it's like I know it's there, but I don't want to. But when you start throwing in the ability for it to write something that will make me money, well,
what about writing code that will make you money?
Yeah, now you have my attention. There's that. Right? I don't know if Etsy does that. The vendors for like, I need a script that does XYZ for my my Tomcat deployment. Like, now I have concerns that the guys that we're hiring to do application development
are doing that
at work are actually doing fuck all for anything, because they could be like pulling up their own.
That's funny that you mentioned that, because I remember a couple of years ago there was an article that came out that was talking about a dude who got an engineering job somewhere, and he got fired because what they found out was that he was getting paid X amount of dollars to do this job, but he was farming it out to a Chinese guy in China,
yes,
to write the code for him, and then he would bring it back and like submit it as his own work.
Yeah, that, but using AI to do it, and the code will work.
Yeah, that's bonkers.
I saw it was a guy writing games, like simple like gotcha games. It was a guy that was like, we're going to make a game that takes these objects and like you drag to a box. Okay, so now we have this code, and then it like generates the thing. Generate me code.
So you're just keep building on the same.
He keeps building
framework.
on this, right?
Yeah.
It's there. It is there. So now you're like, as someone who's, I don't write code, but I support applications of people who are writing this stuff, and if you're in any sort of administrative support where you're supporting applications, there is running jokes about how those guys don't know shit about shit. What are you getting paid to do here? Why would you ask me to do that? Like, that's your job. Like, how do you not know what your app is supposed to be doing? Like, you want me to tune this
because he's having Chat GPT do it.
Yeah, you need me to do increase your swap and semaphores for your app. Well, what do you want me to tune them to? Well, I don't know. You're the OS guy. What's your recommendation? No, that's not how it works. You wrote the app. What does your app need for memory management? You tell me.
Well, how much do I have?
We'll spin up a ticket with Red Hat. What? No, that's not how that.
Yeah.
And so when you have that, like, always rolling around your back of your head, like they're hiring, what do you guys do? What do you do? And now you know that at some point, some of these application developers that are probably getting paid decent may very well be like going home and saying, okay, so now I need you to take this stuff and put it here and do this, write me that code, copy, paste it in email, sends it to himself, comes into the job place, copy, paste, puts it into a Git repository for a code update, and who wrote that? It increased a memory bug. We need to back it out. What did you change? Well, we just restore from yesterday.
Yeah.
No, what'd you fucking change?
Yeah.
Just restore. We'll figure it out. We'll do a root cause later. Like, red lights start going off. Like, we're in a crazy place.
When the machines start writing their own code, that's a problem.
Oh, they're doing it. I mean, there's prompts. There's another guy that did like Chat GPT. You are now small business bot. You have $1,000, and I'm going to enact everything that you suggest. Make me a business using our startup capital of $1,000. And have you read this? Seen it?
No.
The bot tells him to make a website
Yeah.
using like GoDaddy.
Yeah.
Like it picks vendors
Uh-huh.
like to spin up like
An account.
account website. This is how much it's going to take for DNS by. This is how much it's going to take for hosting by here. The name of your business is going to be blah, and you're going to sell environmentally safe products. That's your thing.
Okay.
Okay. So a guy spins up a website. He uses Chat GPT or whatever the variant is for images to generate a logo, which the AI kicks out like, you want to do a logo with a leaf and a cog or something like that. And the guy puts the prompts into the image generator and it gives him a fucking logo. Copy, paste, that's his logo. And then what ends up happening is venture capitalists, investors, see the guy. He's like tweeting all of this, like his progress on Twitter. He starts getting touched.
Yeah. So it's not like it's hidden.
No.
He's straight up telling you this is what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah.
He's just following what the AI is telling him to do.
Wow.
He is getting contacts from people that are like, we want in. We'll give you
what?
Yeah. We'll give you $10,000 to whatever the business is, like to help your investment. And the whole thing is just off and running. He's doing real stuff, selling real products.
Oh, he actually has a product?
Yeah, he's sourcing like bamboo utensils and cutting boards from China.
Okay.
And selling them on his own like prop up marketplace thing. You know.
Wow.
He knows nothing. He is just following directives
from an AI. Wow.
Fascinating.
That's really interesting. Well, I'm going to go home and I'm going to start a business.
Right. Hey, Chat GPT, make me a business.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But, there are all kinds of... And so then my dad sending me 7 ways to generate passive. I'm like, I'm not retired yet, Dad.
Yeah.
But it's like hard to not see. It's like one of those things when you're looking at like... You're seeing the guys that are taking advantage in like the early aughts. They're like, yeah, I'm flipping houses. I don't really put money into them. I'm just like rotating into like I'm getting loans, and like I'm getting cash.
Yeah.
And I don't actually ever own the home, but because I'm flipping it so fast, I'm making $50,000, $75,000 on the flip. And I never actually put anything down because I'm just
whipping them up.
And you're like, man, really? That people making fucking bank right up until 2008, and everything went to shit. But and you're like on the outside looking in, like, oh, I was within a year of like doing something about that, and I just pussed out or I missed that boat. But it was like talking to Ted and Bitcoin. Like, I have computers and RISC-based processors and some old Sun Spark processors in 2002 here in the house that I could have had, and I knew just mining. And I'd be fucking millions in Bitcoin. And I was just like, I don't really have the time for them right now.
Even though those machines
sat there or in fucking blue hot air. And
well, that's the thing. They say that the amount of power you use isn't barely enough to make enough Bitcoin.
Well, it certainly isn't now, but at the time it would have been
true. In the early,
right? Yeah, early time.
You could have mined all kinds of stuff.
I would have generated.
There were way more.
Yeah,
available
and a lot easier.
Yeah,
and I'm like, fuck. And I'm computer literate. It was like literally shotgun mouth. Like, I'm an idiot. I missed it.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at the fringe of this AI stuff, still being computer literate, and dipping your toe into understanding, okay, I get how it works. I get how I could use this to make money, make life easier.
Yeah.
And I'm sad, Dad. I am still struggling with trying to find time to but you can't half-ass it. You've got to be God, in it.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the bells are going off.
Yeah.
But so that where's my time?
But in the meantime, I've got an ice maker that's pouring water into the ice.
Right. I'm getting ready to leave for
And-
Fiji, and the one faucet is
Yeah.
and I'm like,
I've got fucking
God damn it.
icicles in my freezer because it decided to
Right.
not do what it's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Fix that faucet. Then last night,
Yeah.
Piper went to get paper towels from under the main counter bar sink, and all the paper towels
Are
underneath
wet.
are wet.
Oh.
I'm like, what? Yeah.
Oh, no.
That fitting was
Loose or
it was rotted out, and it was
Oh.
slowly leaking over time. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Is
Is that what this is about right here?
What?
The phone number?
Oh, well, no.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's just in case. Well, it won't be from the fucking sinks. The sinks are fixed.
Yeah, I mean,
Shit. It's so close.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a situation where the freezer just kept dumping water into the ice cube tray, but there were already ice cubes in the ice cube tray. But the turner that turns the ice out of the tray wouldn't turn to dump the ice out of the tray. So the filler kept thinking, oh, it's working.
Would you like
So
more
here's
water?
some more water. So now I had water just cascading. And then all of a sudden at one point, it was just dumping all over the floor and coming out of the front of the freezer. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? The floor was completely wet. The front of the freezer's just got water running down it. I'm like, what is happening? Open up the freezer and there's fucking sheets of icicles in there. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's like an Irish Spring commercial. You're like,
Yeah.
and behold, the waterfalls of Schroeder.
Yeah. And it was just not a happy moment. But I fixed it. So whatever.
I tried to, I feel like I've driven the whole thing.
Hey, drive.
So, Piper's car
Yeah.
needed oil change.
Yeah.
She went and got oil. We were going to do it together, but we're jammed up against time with Fiji.
Yeah.
And my time, her time, she was in and out. Last Friday, I've got a window, and she was out of pocket. I'm like, I'm just going to do it. We'll come back, and oil changes
We'll do it
happen
again.
all
They
the
happen
time.
all the time.
Right. So I'm here. I get the car up, and my dad shows up, and just getting started. And Miata's real nice. Everything's pretty accessible underneath there. And I bought
And you can lift it up with one hand.
pretty close. I can't stand these fucking ramps.
Oh.
They're not skid
Yes.
proof.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta have someone help you.
Yeah. Well, I tried.
Just don't drive over them, for
I
fuck's
tried
sake.
putting the grill in front of it to
no.
the car would get up on it, and then
Yeah,
they would scoot out. Pissed off.
yeah.
So I ended up jacking up a side and tossing a ramp. I'm like, well, what good were you?
I want to drive up them.
I want to drive up anyway.
Yeah.
So the car's up. I'm getting underneath it. My dad shows up, and I'm getting the one plate off. And I bought a new drain plug and crush washers that had the drain plug has it's a new hotness to have a rare earth magnet to help pull stuff out of the oil if you've got metal shit in there,
Right.
which is fine. But if you're pulling metal shit out of your,
I mean, some of it's all right. You're
Right.
gonna get some metal.
you're
in
gonna
your
get
oil.
some, but to the point
Yeah.
where you're always cleaning a rare earth magnet from your drain plug, your bearings are going, bro. Anyway,
Something's shaven.
Yeah, so I've got a new drain plug, and we've got all the parts and whatnot. So I'm underneath the car, and I go to take the drain plug off. Now, the car it's up high, and I've got a pretty good purchase and leverage on the drain plug and a ratchet,
Yeah.
but it is
On.
on, and I'm like, okay. And so I'm having this conversation with my dad.
Where's my impact gun?
Right. And I'm like, fucking. So then I just go get a box end,
Yeah.
and I'm this thing's on there now.
Who changed the oil in it last?
Dealer.
Oh, fuck those guys.
It was the complimentary
Donkey
oil.
Kong put that shit on there.
The complimentary oil change. So I'm like, motherfucking serious, like this. So my dad's like laughing at me, like, "Hey, you okay? You got enough leverage under the burn? I thought you said you're going to the gym lately." I'm like, "Fuck off, Dad. Hold on.
I'm hanging my body off of this wrench."
So I'm getting a better beat on it. I got a good grip on it, and this thing is not fucking moving. I'm like, okay.
You got to do the double wrench thing, where you like connect the two. Give you some leverage.
I gave thought to it.
Yeah,
but I don't think I gave thought.
Or impact, just fucking impact.
So I went and got my 3/8 impact.
Yeah,
I don't know the torque rating on that one, but I got the impact out.
Yeah,
3/8 impact. Business.
Nothing.
Business. It ain't coming off.
What the shit?
And now I'm
Here's
looking
a new oil pan.
Right, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, well, I don't. Okay, now I'm getting apprehensive because I'm like, I have a new drain plug, but I don't want to strip this fucking thing.
Yeah.
And now I'm dealing with this as soon as I come back from Fiji or something.
Or worse, hey, daughter, this is how you do this.
Right. Right. See how easy it is to change your oil? You just get down here with a ratchet and you're fucking get the impact. So I'm like, or to see me try and do an example and be completely pissed off, frustrated at a drain plug of all things.
For fucking oil change.
Right. So now I'm getting skittish because I just laid into this bitch with a 3/8 impact. I'm like, okay, let me reset here and just calm down. I get the ratchet back out. I'm like, maybe I loosened it up. The bolt still has integrity. I'm not rounding it off or anything, but I'm also being semi-passive about like pulsing it, so I'm not really giving it the beans. And my dad's like John at me, like, "Hey, gonna have to get out the big boy." I'm like, "Dad, I don't want to do that because who knows? All of a sudden I cork off the top of the bolt, and now I'm just looking at a
nub.
Yeah, and then I don't have a welder that I can.
No, it's just an oil pan at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and he's making jokes, and I'm like, I have to get the 1/2 inch. I'm gonna get the 1/2 inch out.
Damn, really?
So I go and like gingerly walk over to the bench and get the 1/2 inch impact, and I'm like,
for your drain plug.
For my drain plug. And I'm like, am I really going to do this? And now I'm pissed because the dealer probably did this with a torque gun.
Yeah.
Because
the problem is if it's too tight, you risk stripping the pan or the bolt.
Right. So I'm like, these motherfuckers did this on purpose because any normal shade tree mechanic would have probably went, oh, well,
that's too tight.
It's too tight,
yeah,
and I don't want to mess with it. I'll take it to the dealer. And now you're into the dealer for 30, 40, 60, whatever the fucking going rate is for an oil change.
Probably $80 now.
Probably.
Yeah.
And they win because, oh shit. So I'm getting back under the car with a fucking 1/2 inch impact, 600 plus foot-pounds of torque. And I'm like, I cannot believe I'm doing
and
this.
You're like, make sure it's on reverse.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, and before I lean into the car, I'm like holding the socket, and I'm like,
rear. Yeah, it's going the right way.
Right way. Yes, do the button. Okay, that's yep. And then click. Oh, okay. Wait, did I see it actually? Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Because I only really want to get back under here and pull this trigger one time.
Yeah.
Because, fuck. And then Dad's like, I can't believe you're getting out the 1/2 inch. I'm like, you motherfucker from the peanut gallery, you were like, get out the 1/2 inch. I'm like, here, I'm about ready to do it. She's like, is that the one you used to get the Pittman arm off the Jeep? I'm like, technically, no. I used Chandler's Milwaukee 1/2 inch. But the sizing is relatively the same. He's like, shit, That's a lot of torque. I'm like, yeah, well, we're going to find out here real fast, Dad. I give it a good 2-second trigger pull, and it doesn't move. And I went, fuck. Hit it again, and it finally breaks loose and comes out, and fucking
threads are all right, I guess.
Everything was okay.
Okay.
And it was just like,
who fucking did that shit?
You could have quickly, because I wanted to do that with my daughter, who would be brand new to car maintenance, who I'm trying to encourage to do car maintenance. Everything about this process teaches you and exposes you to how your car works and the importance of understanding how your car works and the inner workings of it. Like, all of these things or make you a better...
Mechanically, an oil change is the very simplest thing to do. So
low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. So if you're going to show anyone where to start,
right,
you're going to show them an oil change.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
And I'm like, fucking, I'm glad she wasn't here, because this was... Brutal.
Yes.
I'm like, this is not how you want the experience to be.
Yeah.
Got off and I started getting at the oil filter. I'm like, if they fucking did this the way that they did it, and they didn't, thank God. So got everything off, got it changed, and I did have an opportunity when she got home. I'm like, hey, by the way, change your oil. But I had left it up on the ramp, so I'm like, I changed your oil. Told her the same fucking story about how tight it was. I'm like, but if you've got time, I only need 5 minutes. The car is still up. I want to walk you through.
I'll show you where I was at.
Yeah, where I was at. I'm like, this is the plate. This is the brace that they have that I removed. This is your drain plug. It's a new drain plug with crush washers, and they do that.
It's got a brace in the way?
Yeah. Basically all of the rigidity of the MX-5s, the Miatas, are done with an undercarriage bracing system.
Oh.
It's pretty slick.
Yeah.
You had to remove one that's like maybe laptop screen size, 15 inches.
To get to the drain plug?
You could get to the drain plug, but in order to mitigate oil being all over the place, it's better to just remove this one 15-inch laptop screen size brace plate.
Yeah.
And then the oil filter, I'm like, and this is probably even easier for you because you're smaller hands and smaller arms, but tight. And this is where your oil comes out. Walked her through it, happy. Like, and the next time I wrote your mileage up on a sticker so that you know. And the next time when we get there, we'll do it together, and we will know that we won't have to get out a 1/2-inch impact gun in order to get your fucking
That's
oil.
not normal.
Right. It's not
Piper.
Normal. Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Anyway, so there was that.
I mean, I'm upset if I can't get it off with my ratchet. And it's not even a long ratchet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it was like one of those. It was like the locking lug nut breaking loose on the RS. I was just like, "What? This is garbage."
Chandler, when he had his first Civic, he was going to put on coilovers.
Mm-hmm.
Him and his buddy were going to put coilovers on his car.
Mm-hmm.
He had some work done. I think, was it Les Schwab or something like that? Like tires or something?
Yeah.
And when they put the tires on, those tires were wrenched down. He could not get the lugs off of the wheels in our garage, because that's where they were going to do the work.
Yeah.
So he took the car back and was like, hey, man, I'm trying to get my wheels off, and I cannot get the wheels off. So the guys are like, oh, okay, sure. Right. Take his car, put it up on the thing, and they can't get them off.
Oh.
That's how torqued down they were. I don't know. Whoever fucking torqued his wheels on his car, I mean, they were borderline breaking studs or something.
Ran through all the PSI.
They had so much trouble. They actually ran out of air in their air compressor with air tools.
There you go.
And they have a shop air compressor. They were so apologetic and saw how much of a hassle it was to get those wheels off of his car that they in turn installed all of his coilovers for free to make it up to him.
Yeah.
Because they had his car for a while.
How crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you thinking?
Hey, man, if you're working at one of these dealerships,
There's a torque spec for a reason.
yeah, you don't need to be. I get it. It makes your job a hell of a lot easier, and it's not your car. But fucking,
Yeah.
some of us are just trying to get a thing done, or teach how to get a thing done,
Yeah.
and keep people interested in cars. I don't need you blowing through the whole tank on your impact gun to put the fucking lug nuts or oil drain plug in.
It's bonkers.
It's not needed.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah. No, it doesn't please me whatsoever.
Yeah, it was dumb. I'm like, man, like, that's stupid.
So, well, have you had jury duty recently? Because I'm freaking out.
The last time I did, it was Auburn
Yeah.
at the courthouse, and I did have to go up there. I filled out a survey.
This is like the third or fourth time I've had to actually go.
Yeah.
And the anxiety level just goes up because, like, it's a black box. You don't have no clue what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
And I've been super close to sitting on a jury and also being in the alternate box, which is bullshit. And but I keep getting called, and I keep getting called in, and it's like, fuck, they're just gonna get me one of these times. I feel like it's just gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's also one of those things where it's like, I've had plans for this for tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
with some friends that are far away, and I've had plans with them for weeks, and the jury summons didn't come until after that shit, and now it's fucking with my plans, you know, and that just really irritates me. So it's like my anxiety level over that, plus the fact that, like, I gotta go in and stress out about how much work am I gonna miss, you know. It's just, man, very very anxious.
The last one I got where I had to go to Auburn, we were still in like mask mandates indoors.
Oh, really?
So that was like a new twist for me. I'm like, fucking, am I really going to be up here with, while we're still in danger zone?
Yeah. So during COVID, huh?
It was the tail end where the county hadn't lifted indoor masks yet.
Okay.
So
stop doing crimes, man.
yeah,
You know?
don't do the. Hey, but you get paid mileage or something.
Big fucking deal. What do they give you? 20 cents a mile?
I can't remember.
It doesn't even pay for a quarter tank or for a couple of gallons of gas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think you have to go out of your way to request it. I think that's what they did when I went up there. They're like, would you like a voucher for gas? Like, where'd you come from? And I'm like, Roseville. And they're like, would you like a voucher for gas? I'm like,
Where do I have to use it?
yeah.
Because you're going to give me a voucher somewhere
Yeah.
that I'm going to spend way more gas than what I would probably normally.
It's our Placer County gas station outside of Forest Hill. The fuck?
Yeah.
Would you like that, sir? No.
No, I'm going to use that much gas just getting back.
Figured you wouldn't.
Jeez.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
We're at times.
All right. Well, you know.
We had in the YouTube link description, a friend of ours, there's a girl in Boy Scouts, is because it's June.
Oh, yeah.
June is Pride Month. She, as for I think Jason said, a silver badge. She put together at our local library what she was calling the Lavender Collection, which was, I'm gonna semi-read it here. They're books about, from, and for the LGBTQIA plus community, with the intent of raising awareness on representation and inclusion, because people who have those identities or identify with those representations are 2 times as likely to experience mental health conditions or suicidal tendencies.
Yeah, worthwhile. That's
So she put together a collection. Like I said, the link in the description.
nice
Links
job.
will be in the description.
Yeah.
For her project. So if you're interested in that or you use the YouTubes, you can click on that and support her endeavor. And also raise your awareness for the Pride community.
Absolutely.
That's important.
Yep.
And on that note, you should also wash your hands.
Yeah, wash your ass.
Return the cart, because I can't return them all.
Check your oil, Tony. Yeah, you can.
Register to vote.
Make the call if you need to.
Stay up on your shots.
Do the kindness.
We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.